Assalamualaikum to Madam Saflina and my fellow classmates. Welcome to our presentation video about Cookies and Ginger Restaurant. My name is Rania Fakira binti Supi'i, and let me introduce you to my other group members, Nur Azam Hakimi bin Sukaimi and Muhammad Faris Najmi bin Muhammad Tarmizi.
Before we go further, I would like to explain briefly about Cookies and Ginger Restaurant. Cookies and Ginger Restaurant is owned by two people, Fairuz bin Junaidi and his wife Natasha binti Muhammad Jaiz, which makes this a partnership business. The owner's capital are estimated to be around 20,000 ringgit Malaysia. The products that are marketed by this restaurant are Western food such as pasta, burgers, and pizza, a variety of cookies and delicacies that will definitely make your mouth waters, and it is located in Johor Bahru. Furthermore, it is open the whole week except for Wednesday from 4 p.m. until 10 p.m. If customers are not able to make time to dine in the restaurant, worry not, as this restaurant offers delivery and self-pickup service to guarantee the convenience of the customers. The owners of this restaurant started this business on 4 December 2013, and it has been 9 years since then. Moving on, the next subtopic that will be presented is the business characteristic. A partnership is an unincorporated association of two or more individuals to carry on a business for profit. Many small businesses, including retail, service, and professional practitioners, are organized as partnerships. Like the other types, partnership contains its own characteristics which help to differentiate itself from the others. First of all, this restaurant is registered with the Companies Commission of Malaysia under the Business Registration Act 1996 and 1957. As for ownership, it is owned by two persons who are Fairuz bin Junaidi and Natasha binti Muhammad Jaiz. In the partnership agreement, it is stated that general partner and limited partner are required to make capital contribution. If a limited partner does not contribute capital fully and promptly as committed, deficiency in capital contribution will be considered as their debt to the company. Other than that, limited liability is another feature relating to partnership. Limited liability partnerships (LLP) allow for a partnership structure where each partner's liabilities are limited to the amount they put into the business. Having business partners means spreading the risk, leveraging individual skills and expertise. Each partner is not responsible or liable for another partner's wrongdoing or carelessness. In partnership, this restaurant is managed and controlled by the partners. Moving forward, the basic aim of partnership is to earn profit. The profit is distributed among the partners according to their agreement. Both of them share the profit or loss together according to their profit sharing ratio as stated in the partnership agreement. As for books and account in partnership, this business does not require the legal obligation to keep the books and prepare account. That's it from me. I would like to pass to my partner to continue this presentation.
For the next part, I would like to explain about the classification of business items of Cookies and Ginger Restaurant. These business items are classified to 5 items: asset, liability, capital, revenue, and expenses. There are two types of assets, which are current assets and non-current assets. Cookies and Ginger Restaurant have the company car to have them use it for business services, and as for that, the car, which cost about 12,000 ringgit at that time, belongs in non-current asset. For the current assets, which means the short-term assets that are convertible to cash within a year, Like any other restaurant, Cookies and Ginger restaurants has inventory about 9,000 ringgit, cash in hand 10,000 ringgit, cash in bank 12,000 ringgit, tables and chairs about 9,500 ringgit, and kitchen furnitures and tools about 10,000 ringgit. Next is liabilities. The same as I said, there are current liabilities and non-current liabilities. So what is non-current liabilities? Non-current liabilities is in long term, which is the amount owed by the business not to be repaid within a year, while current liabilities is in short term, is the amount owed by the business to be repaid within a year. Cookies and Ginger restaurant doesn't have any non-current liabilities, but they do have current liabilities, which is account payable. So what is account payable? Account payable is like the purchases on credit from supplier within normal credit term. For example, they bought the raw materials such as meat, chicken and other ingredients weekly, where the cost is about 500 ringgit on credit. For capital, it represents the supplied fund by the owner to the business. At the beginning of the business, the owners of Cookies and Ginger restaurant is about 20,000 ringgit to start up the business. The equity is shared 50% between the owners, Fairuz bin Junaidi and Natasha binti Muhammad Jais. Moving on, revenue is a total value of all goods and services sold, where it is also known as sales or income of the business. The total amount of sales including services of Cookies and Ginger restaurant is roughly about 30,000 ringgit per month. As for expenses, it is the cost of assets or services used in earning the revenue. Cookies and Ginger restaurant have rental costs about 3,500 ringgit monthly over their place. The utilities bill costs about 270 ringgit and internet bill is about 90 ringgit monthly. The total salary paid to the workers are about 10,400 ringgit. They also have purchases a total around 2,500 every month for the raw materials like meat, chicken and other ingredients. And as for the marketing part, they use about 5,000 ringgit for the accessories, board and advertisement for the restaurant.
Thank you Faris Najmi for the information. Next, we move on to the recording process of the business. Since Cookies and Gingers is under sole proprietorship, most of the works were handled by the owner itself. The owner, Chef Faizuz Jumali, and his wife, Natasha Muhammad Jais, record all his transaction process manually. And with the help of his supervisor and management assistant, the recording process is handled smoothly. The process of recording is quite effective and simple. Every week, CNG, short form of Cookies and Ginger, was operated from 4 o'clock to 11 p.m. every day with 1 day rest on Wednesday. And one more piece of information that you need to know before I explain further on the recording process is most of the workers are a part-timer. Because of that, the part-timer will be given a salary daily, while a full-timer gets their salary monthly. So, the recording process begins with the transaction of every dine-in customer purchase. CNG use computer software to record the transaction. The software will record every transaction that happened to the cashier. At the end of the day, the software will show you the amount of every transaction. The amount is totaled differently using the method of payment such as cash, credit card, debit card, touch and go, QR pay and more. So, the owner will calculate the cash in hand with the number that the software show up. If it matches the software, then the transaction process throughout the day is recorded perfectly. This will be the daily total sales. For the expenses, the owner will use the money from the cashier and keep the receipt after. The receipt will be kept in a safety box and divided by its categories such as wet food, stock item, maintenance, and more. At the end of the month, the receipt will be calculated to find the exact expense of the month. With the salary and expense have been recorded, at the end of the month, a hired accountant will come to the restaurant to create a financial statement. The accountant will collect all the receipt and use the cashier computer software to recheck the transaction process. In the end, the accountant will hand over the financial statement for the owner to keep. And that is how the transaction process in Cookies and Ginger restaurant. Next, I will discuss on the strengths and weaknesses of the recording process that I explained earlier. The strength of the recording process is it can easily identify if something is missing from the financial statement. If it is wrong in sales, you can always do a recheck on the computer software itself. Since a computer is a technology that can hold a lot of information, then it is not a problem for a computer to detect a missing item. Furthermore, since it was the software that calculates the transaction process daily, then there is no possibility for the software to miscount the amount of every transaction. If the cash in hand were not in the same amount of the software, then the wrong is in the cash itself. Other than that, the keeping receipt procedure, it is quite a great move to always keep the receipt differently according to their type. The receipt is one of the most important documents to create a financial statement, so it is necessary for the owner to take a good care of the receipt. Lastly, of course, hiring an accountant is a must. Even though most of the recording process were handled by the owner itself, they still know their limit, which led them to hire an accountant to finish their financial statement instead of doing it by themselves. Moving on to the weaknesses, the first thing first is the salary recording process. It is quite complex to record the worker's salary since a part-time and a full-timer is working together under the same restaurant but receive their salary in a different time. The part-timer receive their salary daily while the full-timer were given salary monthly. This can lead to miscounting on the monthly expense of the business. Most of the part-timer working hour is different, so the salary will be different for each person. So it is not a great move to start with. Next, the receipt keeping procedure also has its own weaknesses. Even though it was kept in a separate safety box, it will take some time for the accountant to rearrange the receipt from the earliest date until the latest one. It will be great if the owner kept it inside a file or document, then arrange it to sort by the early date till the latest one. This can help fasten the accountant process and help them to create financial statement perfectly. That is the strength and weakness that I find in the restaurant itself.